Hey guys, welcome back to Battery Hacker. Today we are comparing lead-acid and lithium iron phosphate batteries. And by the end of this video, you will know exactly which one fits your solar setup better. I will break down each category, and we will also look at a practical cost comparison. By the end, you will know which battery actually fits your needs. Let's start with the old-school option. Lead-acid batteries. Life cycle. Gel and AGM lead-acid batteries usually deliver around 1,000 cycles when you limit their discharge to 50%. Yes, you can drain them deeper, but doing that will shorten their lifespan. Weight. These batteries are noticeably heavier. For example, a typical 12-volt 100 amp-hour lead-acid battery weighs about 64 pounds, which is roughly 29 kilograms. This weight can be a challenge, especially if you are building a portable system. Efficiency. Lead-acid efficiency comes in at around 85%. It is acceptable, but definitely not the most efficient option. Their performance also varies depending on room temperature and how quickly you charge or discharge them. Depth of discharge. To make them last, you should avoid draining them below 50%. That means a 100 amp-hour battery only gives you 50 usable amp-hours. Safety. Vented lead-acid batteries can release gases if they are overcharged, so ventilation is important. Sealed types like gel and AGM do not usually need ventilation under normal use. Temperature. They can tolerate freezing temperatures, but their performance will drop noticeably in the cold. C rate. Lead-acid batteries generally come with a 0.2 C rate, meaning they are not ideal when high charge or discharge currents are required. Self-discharge. They lose about 5 to 15% of their charge every month when not in use. This value is not included in our cost comparison, but it is still good to keep in mind. Cost. Upfront, lead-acid batteries are more budget-friendly, which is why many beginners start with them. Now let's move over to the modern option, lithium iron phosphate batteries. These batteries deliver excellent longevity, usually around 5,000 cycles under normal operating conditions. This alone puts them in a different league compared to lead-acid. They are far lighter. A 12-volt 100 amp-hour lithium iron phosphate battery weighs only about 22 pounds, or roughly 10 kilograms. This makes them perfect for applications where every kilogram matters. These batteries can reach up to 99% efficiency. That means extremely little energy is wasted as heat during charging or discharging. You can comfortably use around 80% of their total capacity without harming the battery. For example, with a 100 amp-hour battery, you can reliably draw 80 amp-hours by cycling it between 10% and 90%. Lithium iron phosphate is known for being one of the safest lithium chemistries available. The risk levels are much lower compared to other lithium battery types. One thing to note: these batteries must not be charged when temperatures are below freezing. Doing so can cause permanent damage. However, you can discharge them in freezing conditions. Many models now include low-temperature protection to prevent charging in unsafe situations. Lithium iron phosphate batteries generally support a 1 C rate, which means they can be charged or discharged at a current equal to their amp-hour rating. This makes them very capable in high-demand setups. They drop only about 3% of their charge per month, which is significantly better than lead-acid. Their initial cost is higher, but the better efficiency, deeper usable capacity, and long lifespan can make them far cheaper in the long run. Let's begin the cost breakdown using real-world prices. An AGM lead-acid battery costs around $190. A lithium iron phosphate battery with low-temperature protection costs roughly $370. There are cheaper options, around $270, but those lack low-temperature protection, which is important if the battery will be used in a cabin or a vehicle. At first glance, the AGM battery looks like the bargain. It is roughly half the price of the lithium one. Now, to make this comparison fair, we need to adjust for usable capacity. Remember, you can only use 50% of a lead-acid battery and 80% of a lithium battery. So let's convert both of them to the cost of 100 usable amp-hours. To get 100 amp-hours of usable energy from lead-acid, you need double the capacity. So, $190 times 2 equals $380. That gives you 50% usable depth of discharge. For lithium, we divide by the usable percentage, 80%. $370 times 1.25 equals $462. This gives the equivalent cost for 100 usable amp-hours. Now, we include charging efficiency. Lead-acid operates at around 85%, and lithium can reach 99%. For lead-acid, $380 times 1.18 equals $448 for 100 amp-hours. This compensates for the 85% efficiency. For lithium, $462 times 1.01 equals $466 for 100 amp-hours. This accounts for 99% efficiency. You can see the gap is already shrinking, but there is still one more major factor. Lithium batteries last about 5,000 cycles, while lead-acid lasts roughly 1,000 cycles. To make the comparison fair, both must be scaled to the same total lifespan. So, 5,000 cycles divided by 1,000 cycles equals 5. Lead-acid needs to be multiplied by 5 to match the total life of lithium. For lead-acid, $448 times 5 equals $2,240. For lithium, $466 times 1 equals $466. At this point, it becomes obvious. Even though lithium costs more at the start, it becomes far cheaper when you spread the cost across its full cycle life. If you only need a battery bank for a short period, say up to 3 years, then lead-acid can still make sense. One set of batteries for a short-term system is fine. But if your plan is long-term use, lithium iron phosphate clearly wins. Plus, there are several extra benefits. You spend less time replacing worn-out batteries. You can charge and discharge at higher currents. The weight difference alone makes lithium much easier to handle. After 5,000 cycles, a lithium battery still keeps about 80% of its original capacity. Cycling every day, 5,000 cycles is roughly 13 years of use. Realistically, not every battery will survive that long due to the battery management system inside. Some may last less than 10 years. Some may go well beyond 15. Even if a lithium battery only reaches 10 years, it still ends up costing only about 30% of what lead-acid would cost over the same period. The only real drawback is cold weather charging. That is why, in this comparison, I used a battery that includes low-temperature protection. Some models even warm themselves automatically, so you do not have to worry about charging in freezing weather. Thanks for watching Battery Hacker. If this comparison helped you understand the real difference between lead-acid and lithium iron phosphate batteries, make sure to like the video and subscribe for more clear, simple solar guides. See you in the next one.